Hi, I'm Ben Avery, and this is Strangers and Aliens. Strangers and Aliens is a podcast in this video feed, and it's all about sci-fi, fantasy, the imagination, and Christianity, faith, and spirituality, and how they come together and mix together. And this episode was not one I intended to do. I have a couple different topics that I really need to get to, I really want to get to, but this was more timely. And just like with the Abolition of Man comic book, which was something I was like, well, it's here. I've got to do this. I want to do this now. That's the same kind of thing here that I'm going to be doing with this box. Oops. With this box right here. Now, this box has in it something that was released today. Actually, it's two things in it that were released today. One is of importance to the Strangers and Aliens channel. The other is one that's definitely important to me. I'll talk about both, but there's two books in here that were released today, November 1st, and I love the fact that it is November 1st, which is the beginning of the November NaNoWriMo, November novel writing month. And the last time I took part in the November novel writing month, I wrote this right here, which is my science fiction novel, Ghosts of the Future. Shameless plug. I'm just going to show the cover right here. It's not available yet for anyone to order, but I will definitely let people know when it is available. It's a science fiction novel. It's the first science fiction novel I ever wrote, and I had a lot of fun doing it because I was writing it just for myself. It was just writing the kind of thing that I wanted to read. Well, speaking of writing, that's a part of what's inside this box. And so I have a feeling what I want to do this month is to work on I have a time travel story I want to work on, and I want to work on a sequel to this. I'm not going to actually work on writing a novel because the time travel story I want to do first, but it's going to be a short story or at best a short novelette. But the sequel would be a novel, and so I don't think I'm going to finish it in November. So I may not win NaNoWriMo, but I am going to be using NaNoWriMo to get back into a disciplined writing schedule again. But the other thing I want to do is some reading. And the reading will go along with what I'm writing. So here's what I have. Now, I promise, the intention of this video feed is not to be a C.S. Lewis fan page, but it's kind of, in some ways, turned into that as I do the unboxing here. I mean, we've talked about Dark Tower, the trilogy here. We've talked about, the Abolition of Man, and now here is another book. Two books, actually, like I said, but, this one's a little smaller than I was expecting. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the one that I want to talk about the least, although I'm really excited about this book. Music is important to me, and this book is about a band that is very, very important to me. Surrender by Bono. It's his biography or autobiography. It's got illustrations by him. There's also an audiobook where he is reading the audiobook, and so this is something that I'm pretty excited about. So I'll be reading this at some point. I just don't know at what point. But this came out today, and creatively speaking, getting these things in the mail today, they were both released on November 1st, and both C.S. Lewis and Bono are very important creative people and very important parts of my own creative development. And so let's get to the C.S. Lewis book. This is the main event right here. This is why I'm doing the unboxing. And I want to say right now, this is much tinier than I thought I was going to be getting, especially considering the cover price. It's a hardcover book, $24 cover price, and you put it up against this puppy here. Well, I got this one on sale. This is a $34 cover price, so I guess my comparison, I did not pay that much for this. I probably would have, but it was Amazon, and so it was cheaper. But anyway, I was expecting a little bit more heft to this volume, but at the same time, I don't even really know how much is in here. But this is a book called On Writing and Writers. And so here we have a bunch of essays, advice, opinions. It has some, so already as I'm looking at it, there are definitely some essays that I have seen before on writing science fiction, on writing for children. Those are both essays I've seen before. But then there's also just a lot of, just short things here, short pieces. And that actually, I had a feeling, and this is not a problem for me, but I had a feeling that everything in here I actually already have on the shelf. And then looking here at these short pieces here, like Shakespeare's Hamlet as a failure, better than a success, and then it has like some writing there. I have a book here, The Quotable Lewis. It's I had to cut the cover off of this thing because it got water damage, but this is something I've had since college, and I just really adore it. And I was able to use this when we're doing our Seven Deadly Sins episode, and it has like just the different writings about the different things. And I have a feeling that if I look up Shakespeare here in this book, let's see here, I'm probably going to get a lot of the same styles of quotes. And maybe even some of the same. Yeah, this one, most certainly an artistic failure. All argument is for that conclusion. And I think that might even be the same quote that I was just looking at. But I don't care, because I have planned all along, not necessarily thinking about November, but planning on reading this and just taking some time to spend some time with C.S. Lewis and just reading some of this advice, some of his opinions. Here is advice, general advice about writing. This is kind of good, but I don't know if I could do it. Number 1, turn off the radio. Number 2, read all the good books you can and avoid nearly all magazines. Number 3, always write and read with the ear, not the eye. You should hear every sentence you write as if it was being read aloud or spoken. If it does not sound nice, try again. Write about what really interests you, whether it is real things or imaginary things, and nothing else. Notice this means that if you are interested only in writing, you will never be a writer, because you will have nothing to write about. Take great pains to be clear. Remember that though you start by knowing what you mean, the reader doesn't, and a single ill-chosen word may lead him to a total misunderstanding. In a story, it is terribly easy to forget that you have not told the reader something that he needs to know. The whole picture is so clear in your own mind that you forget that it isn't the same in his. When you give up, number 6, when you give up a bit of work, don't, unless it is hopelessly bad, throw it away. Put it in a drawer. It may come in useful later. Much of my best work, or what I think my best, is the rewriting of things begun and abandoned years earlier. This is interesting. Number 7, don't use a typewriter. The noise will destroy your sense of rhythm, which still needs years of training. Number 8, be sure you know the meaning or meanings of every word you use. And that is a letter to Thomasine from 1959. And so, here's another one. A good story doesn't need a point. And ways to murder words. So my plan has always been to get this book. As soon as I saw that this existed, I wanted to get it just to have all that stuff right in one place from a writer that I truly, truly respect, and a writer that I adore, and a writer that has really influenced my writing style, influenced some of my writing tastes and my reading tastes. And so very excited about this book, C.S. Lewis on Writing and Writers, a miscellany of advice and opinions. And I know there are some people who don't like books like this where it takes things, picks and chooses. I am assuming, though, let's see here, the chapter on writing science fiction, that is an essay that he wrote. But it has these kind of subheadings and short bits on writing science fiction / fantasy as escapist. Don't waste the exotic location in a science fiction novel. Advice to a budding science fiction novelist. Good and bad types of science fiction stories. And yeah, so that was obviously a longer piece. On Christian writing is another section. So it's my unboxing of On Writing. I am so excited to dig into this book because I'm so excited to dig into some new stuff by me. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, so that's this unboxing. And I recommend this based solely on what I know about the author and what I know about the subject. I haven't read it yet, so I'm assuming that it's going to be good. But I am judging a book by its cover because it says C.S. Lewis on the cover, and it has an inkwell and a quill pen. So, but I wish it was a little bit bigger, a little more heft to it. But anyway, that's the episode. I have different things that I'm hoping to do in the very near future. I have a book that was sent to me. I'm just going to go ahead and show it right now. This is called Sky Songs, and I've been reading short stories in this. This is a book of Christian fiction. Dream Thief has taken a back seat to that. I also have an episode coming up about music that is important to me and that has been a part of my writing journey, I guess, from when I started writing seriously in college. And I also have an episode coming up that, again, I haven't recorded this yet, but because I'm doing this kind of thing. But I have an episode coming up where I want to talk about other people who are doing the same kind of thing that I would recommend to you. So I've been having fun making these videos. I don't know if you're having fun watching them, but there has been some good feedback, and I enjoy conversation. And I know this is not much of a conversation as far as how this works. I'm talking to you right now, and then maybe you can put some, comments in the comments below, which I would love to read. But I do want to say I love doing this kind of thing, and hopefully there's some value in it for you as well. So with all that said, it's time for me to shut things down and say thank you so much for spending time with me. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. And also, if you like this kind of thing, we have almost 400 audio episodes on the website, strangersandaliens.com, where we talk about creativity, where we talk about movies. The most recent episode that we did where we talked about Something Wicked This Way Comes. But then I do have an episode coming up where we are talking about Black Adam, and that will be posted soon. And then we also are starting in November. We're going to be talking about pulp movies that sprang from the backwash of Batman in 1989. So that's kind of our plans for the future there. So all that said, again, thank you very much for spending time with me. Thank you very much for making me be a part of your day. Thank you very much for, if you do hit like and if you do hit subscribe. And as you go on your journey, and for some of you, as you write your novel here in November, Godspeed.